realization that took place here is that there is no separation, and it's basically the story. It's the thoughts streaming, creating the story, creating the timeline, while indeed there is none of that. So the solidity of being a me, the solidity of being a separate entity was so strong, so to speak. But in my journey, let's put it this way, when I started having glimpses, there was more and more opening of that there is just this, and it's the unity in a way. It's it's never been separate. There was never been me in the world, and so on. And also there was the realization that when the me dropped and dissolved, apparently, that it really was nothing, literally nothing. It didn't have any weight. That's what that's what I saw after the me dropped. It's like a smoke, really have no solidity and weight. But in the story, it was creating so much drama. It was creating so much weight that it genuinely felt so heavy, and hence the suffering. So in the story of Jane, so to speak, which it's also, I want to say, you don't want to deny that either. If you are a seeker and you are thinking that you completely have to denounce all of your stories that apparently took place, it's not about that. It's about realization that the ownership of these stories and events and experiences was never real. There is no owner taking ownership for this. So in the story of Jane, there was quite a lot of suffering, and like I shared in my previous videos, going through abusive narcissistic relationships, and not necessarily physically abusive, but emotionally and psychologically. And I would never stand here and deny the pain that I went through. However, looking back, there is also realization. It's not about denial. It's about actually seeing it clearly that it was part of imagined story, but at the same time, owning and seeing the apparent progression of strength that I came to. Interestingly enough, I left that relationship when right before I had the first glimpse, so to speak, and leaning towards non-duality and reading more, and so on. And I'm also a writer and author. I wrote a book, and I was working with highly sensitive people and empath. These are all things that are helpful. I will never be standing here and denying that nervous system in a parent world still needs to be rewired. Of course, you're not doing anything, but I will not be saying that's not an important part. Okay, let's just make it clear. And I believe all parts are important because there is apparent stabilization in the process, so to speak. And your body and your nervous system will have to catch up, so to speak, with this. And there's certain momentum that will ride it out, which could be part of anxiety and panic attack. And that was actually in my story, that was the last bit before me dissolved. And the me found very core trigger to cause this. But at the same time, I could clearly see that that was out of ordinary, and that was something completely blown out of proportion. And that was exactly what was happening. It was the last grasp of the me for survival. So also I want to mention, a lot of you may be asking, but what about, maybe there's still belief that the me is necessary. Without me, you won't be able to function and so on. From this experience here, not only it's not necessary, but actually it is, in a parent story, it is the block of everything, of peace and ease and flow. That is already the case. But the me, is the control and anxiety itself, trying to piece pieces together, to put pieces together unnecessarily. So you really waste your energy. You spend your energy on exhaustion. You feel tired. Me has nothing to offer you. That sounds funny, but obviously there's no me, there's no you. You know what I mean, in a parent story. So when this dropped, that was quite obvious. It was to the point that now I can laugh, because how unreal it was. It was never there. It's never the case even now, even if it appears to be in your experience. That's not real. So that's the illusion part. That's the illusion, that there is ownership, there is the one who have to take responsibility. And another thing I want to throw in there, maybe this video is all over the place. I'm kind of, like I said, after that glimpse and after me dissolved, I don't have like so much rigidity and structure what I want to talk about. But if you want me to cover certain subjects, please do let me know. I just enjoy making these videos. I lost the train of thought, obviously, but we'll get back to it. I do want to mention that after the me dissolved, there is still could be appearance of arising certain emotions, feelings, relative suffering, things to deal with, but none of that holds weight and power. It's clearly seen, it's released almost immediately. And another thing I noticed, there is no trying to get rid of it, because that's what me does, trying to create a story that me, separate self, I have to overcome these difficult emotions, sensations, and so on. It's like a pure insanity. And I would say this, those who went through this experience will resonate. I went through 15 or almost 16 years of narcissistic marriage, okay? Those who know, who've been in this experience, what it's like to be in these relationships. The me itself is a paranoid, narcissistic. It's basically what it is. And I have noticed with narcissists, it's actually the me is so intensely separated. Like in a parent story, there, I believe there could be certain levels of intensity of me. And if you take a narcissist, that's kind of like on the other end of the stick. And hence all of the actions, reactions, and behaviors that are coming from a narcissist. So why would you want that? And if you went through these experiences, you will understand what I mean. Why would you want that? This is for those who say like, what if I can't survive without me? Like that would be like, what if I can't survive without narcissists? Not only you're gonna survive, you're gonna thrive. You're gonna live so much better. Your life is gonna completely change. And by the way, I wanna talk more about this topic, healing from these kind of connections too. And that's part of why I'm passionate talking about rewiring your nervous system. So if you have any more questions about that, please let me know. I will try to align this as best as I can. But it's not about denying these experiences, like I said in the beginning. It's about understanding that it's all taking place on its own. It's happening not to you, it's just happening. But the moment the separation, so to speak, dissolves, the happening continues. It's not continuum in time. Absolutely, there's no time. It just appears, disappears immediately. So there's no beginning, there's no end. If there's a beginning and end, it's all in one, if you will. So it's continuous, but it also continues in a way that is easier, lighter, and it's not, there is no noise in your mind anymore. Creating stories, generating stories, your brain gets a break at this point. Obviously, brain is part of the story as well, but your brain, your nervous system absolutely gets a break from this. Okay, I hope that served you. Let me know what you want me to cover next, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. Please do reach out. After this video, I'm actually going to put my email over there and under the video. If you feel like you want to reach out, talk, ask questions, connect, feel free to do so. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.